You've touched on several things here. There were several things that sort of lit up around the room as you were speaking here. And the most significant thing that we want to address here is that love, the feeling of love, when you are in a moment where you are offering love, you are in perfect vibrational alignment with that which is your source. And anything less than that is less than that. The emotion of love is an indicator about alignment, and you can apply it, as you said, to so many different things. It can be applied to your relationship with your significant other. It can be applied to almost any subject. As I focus upon this person or this subject, no matter what the subject is my approach to it allowing my full connection with my source energy, or is my approach to it somehow not? Now, you said something else that is very important, and that is that the emotional scale that we've been talking about all morning is, on the end of it, that feels like love, is also your personal, in the moment, perception of freedom and empowerment. And we use the word perception carefully, because everyone is free. You're so free you can choose bondage. No one else can vibrate for you. But how you perceive yourself to be, the amount of power that you perceive in the moment, has to do with how much power you're connected to. And that degree of love that you are feeling is absolutely tied with that feeling of alignment with who you really are. And of course, on the other end of that disempowerment is there. The reason that wanting to cling or hold on is so prevalent is because the person who is now clinging was not in touch with their own emotions to begin with. In other words, that is usually the ending of this kind of scenario. So I'm in my physical body and I want to feel good. And I haven't yet figured it out that I can focus myself into feeling good. I'm still, like so many people, looking at that and feeling good, and looking at that and feeling bad. And so believing that if more things were like that, I'd feel better. And if fewer things were like that, I'd feel better. Still believing that I need to control circumstances. So I come together with someone, and in most relationships, especially in the beginning, because you don't know so much about me and I don't know so much about you, and we're both hoping for what we each want. So both of us are more in a place of alignment in the beginning of a relationship, because we're looking positively, expectantly at one another. And in doing so, we're finding the best in each other. And in looking for the best in each other, we are, without maybe even knowing it, aligning with Source, who always looks for the best in each other. We're aligning with that broader non-physical part of ourselves. And so we say, oh, this feels so good. When you look at me and my physical body and you love me, you're in alignment with Source in order to love. And when you shower your love all over me, it feels so good, I say to you, in my physical form. So then, as that feels good, then what happens, however, is that you have to continue to hold yourself in a place of connection and positive expectation in order to flood that well-being all over me. And if you don't, then I feel like a puppet that somebody has let go of the strings. And then I begin saying things to you such as, you don't love me like you used to, or you don't make me feel the way you used to, when it was never your job to make me feel this way to begin with. All you were was a catalyst that caused me to connect with who I really am and how I really feel. So the clinging or hanging on that you're talking about is where I now remember that you did make me feel good, and I'm hanging on to that dream, and I'm hanging on to that vision. And the closest thing that I associate to feeling the way I always wanted to feel was that brief time when I felt that way with you. So I'm holding on to you. And we want you to get so consciously aware that the way you feel is about what you're focused upon, and that the way you feel is about your amount of alignment with who you are, or misalignments, allowing of who you are or resisting of who you really are. And when you get that, and you further understand that you can, with deliberate thought, while we acknowledge you can't do it all at once, you can do it incrementally. As you acknowledge that you can close that gap between where you are and where you want to be, or who you are and who you really are, then You're not holding other people in that impossible position of having to perform in a way so that you can feel better. When you say to someone, I need you to be different so that I can feel better, you have no power. That's the pain of relationships. It's expecting the impossible. It's giving someone else the power to do something that nobody else can do. Nobody can hold you as their object of attention completely enough to assure that you will always be in alignment. And if they did, you'd be screaming and running and trying to get away from them because you would feel like you were suffocating, you see. So a relationship becomes magnificent when you let your primary relationship that you are seeking be with you. When you say, nothing is more important than that I feel good. And then on a myriad of subjects, you practice bringing yourself up the vibrational scale so that you show yourself that under all conditions that you have the power to focus and feel good. You don't ever have to leave your relationship behind. Your relationship, just like everything else in your life, is continuing to evolve. And right here in the middle of this relationship that may feel so awful that you want to run kicking and screaming from it, you're launching rockets of desire. You're amending your desires relative to that relationship. And Source is becoming all of that. The Source part of you is becoming all of that. And if you could find, through reaching for thoughts that feel better, in other words, finding thoughts that give you relief, if you could come into vibrational alignment with that, you could live inside of an eternally evolving relationship that would continue to be as fresh and new as you are.